Greetings. Welcome to this discussion of Excel Lesson 2. For Excel Lesson 2, we're using another problem out of the book, the back of Chapter 1, ACT 1.9, and it's on page 60 and 61. And this problem shows you an Excel spreadsheet down at the bottom, and it asks you to build the spreadsheet. And then it asks you to please enter these transactions. Well, we have been entering transactions in the sample problem. You have an illustration of how to enter those, and on page 25 you have another sample, and you have a number of samples throughout the chapter. So what I'm doing now is I've given you a worksheet in Moodle, so I would request that you go to Moodle and that you open Moodle and look at the spreadsheet that's there. And you'll notice that the first assignment here on page 60 says enter the following headings for the horizontal statement model into a blank spreadsheet. So you can look down below in the book and you'll see what all the headings are. You can see the boxes highlighted where you need to enter something, and so then we will begin to enter those headings and create this spreadsheet. I have entered the transactions and put in the numbers for you so you can see how the spreadsheet balances. So in column B1 we want to type balance sheet, and when we type balance sheet, in column B1, because this is merged and centered across all of those balance sheet columns, the Excel automatically centers the information and puts it over columns B to G. The next statement that we're asked to do is the income statement, and it's going on across row 1. It's I to M, so we're going to type income statement. And Excel, since it's on merge and center, will automatically merge and center for you. If you go to the Home tab and you look under Alignments and you look just above Alignments, you'll see the merge and center icon. And so we have clicked, when we were building this for you, we clicked on merge and center right in the alignment function, and so now that's how this is working. The last one is called statement of. So statement of goes on row 1 between O and P, and cash flows goes on line 2 in columns O and P. So those are the headings that they have for the names of each of the financial statements: a balance sheet, an income statement, and a statement of cash flows. Under the balance sheet we have assets. So in row 2 under cells B and C we're going to type assets, and they're on one side of the balance sheet, and on the other side of the balance sheet we have liabilities and stockholders equity. So we're going to do liabilities in E on row 2, and in F and G on row 2 we're going to do stockholders equity. Notice that stockholders is plural, so the goes on the outside to make it a plural and possessive. Now for the incomes, so those are the accounts for the assets, the liabilities, and the owner's equity. Next we're going to come down and going to come outside and into rows 3 and 4, and we're going to type event in A3 and number in A4, and that's going to, then that will give us a label for our transaction event numbers. under assets, we have two of them. We have cash and land. So in B4, we will type cash, and in C4, we will type land. So we have those two asset accounts that are here in this. Then we come across the under the liabilities, and for liabilities we have loans payable. So in E3 we type loans, and in E4 we type payable. And as you look at this and you look back at the textbook and you look at what their picture looks like, the spreadsheet you're building by typing in these labels and beginning to think about the order of how these go together looks exactly like their sample. So then we'll come under stockholders equity. On F3 we type common because that's the name of the stock, and on F4 we type stock. So we have, and you do have to be careful because when you type a word like stock, it's recognizing that out of stockholders equity, and the best thing to do is after the K in stock, hit the delete sign, and it will not keep all of the rest of that, what it's remembering for its stock. It's quite a nice feature when it's a long name and you type a few letters of it and the whole name appears there. But where the same parts of the names are used over, you do have to stop and use the delete key and make sure that the rest of it does not come forward. And then we have retained earnings. So we'll do retained on G3 and earnings on G4. So now we have the common stock as the contributed capital and the retained earnings in the business as the earned capital. So as we go across to the income statement, we have revenues. So we're typing revenues in I4. Going on across to K4, we have expenses. So we'll type expenses for that label. And that, then we have net income. So M3 has net and M4 has income. So we have net income in the M column as our label. So now as we look at those, I see that I missed putting in the yellow boxes, but you keep going. If you look at the sample, we have to put in amount and activity. So we're going to put in amount in O4 and activity in P4. So we have those included. And now that gives us all the labels that we need. Now in A5, we look down and there's nothing written. It's a blank line. And then in A6, we have 1, and in 7 we have 2, and then we have transaction 3, and then we have transaction 4, and transaction 5, and transaction 6. And then so that would identify each of those transactions we're putting in. And so by putting those in and centering those in the column, if you go back to home and you look under alignments, but now you look to the far left of alignments, you see all those alignment boxes for margins. So we've got a left text and a centered and a right text. And so we can put those we can put the data wherever we want it within the column using those alignment boxes. Our last entry is for A13, where we put in total, and so we now have the totals going across there. Coming down under the 94s that we have there, notice that those are called total assets. And coming across and up, they're called total liabilities. Now those totals then are centered, that's set up that way. So now we've labeled all the numbers. In accounting, numbers should have labels. So what we've done in this activity is identify the places where labels should be typed in. We've looked at the sample that's given in the book. It's here on page 60 and on page 25. And then we've learned to insert those into the worksheet. Now, this is just an insert title activity for this week. We'll work in the future about using that center and merge key. We'll look about using those center keys. You should look to see where I have those identified. Look up in the home column. Most of those are under alignment, and begin to look and notice those tabs. Well, now you want to be sure that you save this to your computer, and it's Excel lesson, it's BA 250 Excel lesson 2. And then at the same time, get out your flash drive or your external hard drive or whatever, wherever you save as your backup, and save it again as a backup so that you have it in case anything happens. And then you post this to your to the Dropbox that's right above it on the Moodle spreadsheet, and you post this file into the Dropbox, and that's your Excel lesson 2. Thank you for working with me. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll do another one of these for you on the comprehensive problem.